Hello, my name is Lorna Nakawie. I'm a mental health practitioner, founder of Kampala Counseling Services. I have a bachelor's in psychology and also a master's in clinical social work from the University of St. Thomas. Yes, some of the challenges that teenagers go through, body image, because you're changing, your body's changing. For both girls and boys, you're changing. So there's like a hormonal, changes, which then come with the body changes. So then there's social, the social aspect of it. You are, trying to make friends, discover who you are, and as you're discovering who you are, you're going to get more like attracted to people, that are probably the kind of very similar to you. So let's say personality-wise, you're discovering who you are. If you're an outgoing person, you are going to, look for people that are also outgoing to hang out with. So all those things are happening with you. And then if, you're met with, let's say, at home, maybe you're worried that, okay, maybe the friends that I'm hanging out with, my parents might not be okay with them because they're outgoing and they, might be let's say, the kids at school that cause like trouble, but, these are your friends, these are people that you relate with. So there's going to be a conflict between who you choose to be friends with and then also who your parents want you to be friends with. So there's that going on for kids. And then there's also the aspect of bullying. So, we all watch movies where you see like the popular kids in school are bullying the not so popular kids, maybe for different reasons. Could be maybe they don't have as much money, or maybe their body looks different from what the popular kids look like. So all these things are not just things that happen outside of Uganda. These things are also happening here with kids in school. Body image, bullying, performance in school classes, and different personality things, because during the teenage age is also when personality disorders also like kind of manifest. They're usually peaking around like teenage age into like young adult. This is like the teenage age is a great time for a parent and a kid to kind of like be friends, if that, in that sense of, I'm checking in with you. How are you? How is school? Who are your friends? Tell me more about why you decided to choose these as your friends. So instead of like kind of like criticizing everything that you're doing, like, oh, you're doing this wrong, performing well in school, you hang out with the wrong people. Maybe try to find out, why is my child hanging out with these people? Is he or she feeling more comfortable with, this group of people, and let me find out why my child is feeling more comfortable with this group of people. Are there things that I need to know about my child personality-wise that, is attracting them to this group of people? So kind of finding time for your child. Just sitting down, it could be like 5 minutes. Let's say you pick them up from school. Any challenges you found today? And then if, let's say, you're in boarding school, on the days where you're able to go see your child, really sit down and find out, how has the last month been? What's the most challenging subject? And really be curious, because, sometimes we as like adults might think that, oh, like, what does this 12-year-old know? But really they're like going through things that we might be, not aware of. So when you sit down and really get curious about, hey, who are your friends? What's the most challenging subject? How are you experiencing, making friends at school? Is it hard? Is it easy? Who are your friends? So get curious about different things. How do you spend your day? What do you love to do? Stuff like that. That way, when you open this communication with your child, they find it a lot easier for like to come to you when it's like challenging times. If I talk to my parents every day, talking about how school was, I know that I can count on them. I know I can walk up to my parents and say, today wasn't so good because this person did this and this and this, or I'm going through a really rough time in this class. And so there's that open communication. So if, if at all it's possible, I would encourage parents to really get to talk to their children, because when there's that gap, the child is going to find someone else to talk to. It could not be, it might be the friend, and maybe the friend is usually about the same age. And you know, they don't have that much experience with life, so they're going to tell them what they're doing. Like, hey, oh, if you're going through some stress, let's skip school. You know, so they're going to do things like that. However, if they talk to their parent, the parent is probably going to say, let me go talk to this teacher, see what we can do about that. So kids have been away from school, from their routine, for such a long time. 2 years is a long time to be out of school. So now children are having different challenges. People have changed. You know, maybe your friends that you used to go to school with have switched schools. So you now have to make new friends. You now have to go back to a world. Let's say some, you know, as we've been hearing on the news, some children started working, you know, during the lockdown. And now they're thinking, what's the point of me going back to school when I can make money? Now they want to do half and half. You know, I could go to school and then do part-time work, stuff like that. So there's that challenge as well. So kids are not seeing the point of going back to school when, you know, I've been working, I'm making money. Another challenge is some people, maybe they were experiencing some type of like bullying at school. And then now, with the 2 years, they don't have to deal with anything like that. And now parents are taking them back to the same school where they were bullied. And this child is thinking, why do I have to go through this again? And because there's not that open communication with the parent, the child is feeling like, I can't tell my parent that I was bullied at school. Like, I'm scared of telling them that this is why I don't want to go back to school. So what do? Let me try to hide, or let me go to school and just check out, no, do not go to class, or, you know, do like some, like, you know, not so great behavior at school, just to show them that I really don't like school. So children are finding themselves acting differently, you know, acting out, if I can say that, acting out, just not because they don't want to go to school, it's just because they don't know how best to talk to their parents about, hey, maybe this is not the greatest school for me. So again, we go back to finding that time with a parent to, you know, as a parent, finding that time to sit down with your child and talk to them, you know. So, and then also being out of school for such a long time, let's say a child has already been, you know, being anxious for a long time, and they weren't able to do anything about it in school. But, you know, during the lockdown, they had access to, let's say, illegal drugs, and they were able to, you know, smoke or do anything that helped them to cope with the anxiety. And I'm saying cope in quotes because it wasn't the most effective way to cope. So now this child is forced to go back to school, where the coping mechanism that they were used to during the lockdown is not there. So what are they doing? They're finding other ways to cope, which is also, they're finding probably unhealthy ways to cope. So again, there's a lot of challenges post-lockdown, which children are going through, teenagers are going through in different settings, you know, socially, emotionally, physically, different things. So the one thing I would say, like, if schools, you know, headmistresses, headmasters, and principals, if they, you know, identify that there's some issues that, you know, challenges that kids are going through, to invite some, you know, like therapists, or just to consider having therapists at school. You know, it could be like someone that in-house that comes on is there, or it could be someone from outside that comes every now and then, just to, you know, have someone to talk to.